A cute little love song, very pretty, called Honeybee. All about how she didn't have to be so nice to him, but she was, and that's how he knows she loves him. Got me going. See, when a girl is raised up in our genderific society where you behave according to your genitalia, not your inclination, if she behaves according to her inclination and is too masculine, she will get harassed, hassled, scolded, ostracized, and various other punishments we have for people who don't conform. And one of the things that the human beings with innies instead of outies are required to do is to always be nice. The polygamists who oppress women have the phrase, keep sweet. She's constantly exhorted to keep sweet, as in never raise her voice. And I mean, women were taught not to raise their voices. They were also taught not to raise their eyes. Don't look at your betters. Don't lift your head up. Always keep sweet. Be humble, be quiet, be obedient, be industrious, be a servant. Be the perfect servant, and don't ever give offense to your betters, aka men. So these girls are taught that when a man approaches them and says hello, they're supposed to behave as though he's attractive to them. Always. And failure to behave that way will result in punishment, as in scolding, ostracism. Oh, you'll never get married, you'll be a spinster, and everybody will laugh at you and throw rocks at your windows. There's a lot of punishments for the female who doesn't comply. So girls are taught to be cute and sweet and flirty and fun and kind and nice and ingratiating and compliment and, laugh at her jokes. And men are left trying to read the tells to figure out if he's different from all the other men that she's been sweet and fun and flirty and kind and gentle with. And this song was all about how, because you smiled at me, I knew that you thought I was special. It's like, no, she is required to smile at you unless the society around her tells her that you're beneath that. The only men she's not allowed to smile at, she's allowed to not smile at, are the ones that everybody else has decided aren't good enough. And somebody else is supposed to make that designation. Plus, if you are not friendly enough to a man, you're in trouble. You're in danger. If you go to the bar and you're with your friends and you're having fun and you get up to use the bathroom, or you get up to get yourself a beer, or you get up to play a game of darts, sooner or later, a man is going to come along and approach you. He's gone to all that trouble to screw up his courage to approach you because he finds you attractive. And, part of what the trouble that he's gone to screw up his courage is get so drunk and plastered that he's really offensive. He comes up to you all beery and boozy and bleary-eyed and, hey, baby, give me a kiss. Well, you're not going to give him a kiss. I mean, you don't even want him within 3 feet of you, but there he is, putting his hands around your shoulders, trying to pull you in towards him, physically touching you, sticking his face in your face and breathing all over you with vomit and beer. Well, you might sit and think, well, fine, slap that face and make it back off. No, you can't even go, ew, you're disgusting, get out of my way. Because you're a normal, ordinary, not wealthy female who has to make her own way home at the end of this. And because drinking and driving is bad, you're probably going to be standing on the street at some point waiting for a bus or a taxi or unlocking your bicycle. Or even just walking home from the bar if you live close enough. What do you think Mister's going to do when you've gone and said, ew, you're gross? Is he going to go, gee, I'm gross, I shouldn't have hit on her? No, he's going to go, oh, that bitch has no manners. How dare she? I'll teach her a thing or two. And this is what goes through a young woman's head. That she doesn't know which one of the men that approached her that night are the type to take matters into his own hands and teach her a lesson or two. Because when they say teach a lesson, they really mean take what you wouldn't give me. Some men won't take no for an answer. And instead, you have to come up with a really friendly way. I remember my trick was to giggle, oh stop, and then wriggle. I was extremely flexible and strong, and I would wriggle out of their arms and dance away while they were still trying to get the lock on. And I had to do that 3 or 4 times with one guy, and I had to finally quit playing darts because he kept coming up behind me, and he'd put his hand on my hip and then put his chest up against my back and then put his other hand on my wrist. Here, baby, let me teach you how to play darts. And to say anything about that to him, like, hey, quit sexually assaulting me, or get your filthy paws off me, or, oh, you're so disgusting, get back, or even, no, I'm not interested. Well, the latter approach, I've tried that one because I knew better than to be rude, because he had friends who were rooting him on. So of course, at that point, you're in grave danger. These men could follow you home and gang rape you. So what I did, like I said, was I wriggled and I giggled, and I finally gave up playing darts and just remembered for the rest of my life the frustration of that kind of an experience. That one was the worst, but I remember one time a guy repeating over and over again as he stared at my wedding ring that I was probably faking it, and I'd put on the wedding ring just because I wasn't interested in him, but that wasn't reason enough. I should be interested in him because, gosh darn it, he was just so amazingly interesting. Okay, well, I'll accept that you're married. Tell you what. Just don't tell him. He continues to act as if sleeping with him would have been the most seminal moment of my life, and left me with memories that would comfort me in my olden days and be worth whatever betrayal of trust that I might wish to put out, whatever betrayal of self and dignity and anything. And the only way I finally got him to quit hassling me was my girlfriend came over and started saying, actually, oh, look at you falling over backwards, was my girlfriend that I was there with coming over and saying, and we weren't a gay couple, we were roommates at one point. At this point we were friends. This was before my divorce. I was still married. And she started telling the guy that we were lesbian lovers, and he was the kind of guy who was so homophobic that the idea of 2 gay women was not attractive to him, and that finally drove him off, seeing us together. It was all kinds of bad and wrong. Now this was in the 80s. We're talking a few years back when I was actually an attractive young woman, versus now when I'm just a kind of ugly old lady. And I really feel for young women because of it, and this is why the Me Too movement is so damned important. Girls are raised to keep sweet. They're not allowed to fight back. So you don't understand, if you're not one of them, just how much courage it takes to stand up in the face of terms like resting bitch face and, that nasty woman, and yet she persisted. We're seeing some pretty egregious abuses of equality right now in the public media. So to come forward and say, no, you're not going to keep me down. You're not going to shame me into being obedient and to being your doormat just to avoid being told that I'm not a nice enough person. That's what that's about. Girls are taught that they have to be doormats to matter, and that if they do anything less, they will be shunned from society. They will be abused and mistreated. And it's a beautiful thing to see that changing. And I hope you girls out there don't quit fighting. And you young men who really love those women, stand by them. Stand up for them. The person in there that you love, remember her, not the woman that she is, but the person that you love inside of her, and stand for that. Stand up with her, because your children's children and your children's children are going to get the benefit of this one.